Today we will look at an installation that is needed for producing foam insulation. Foam insulation is used to fill voids in walls and ceilings, improving their properties, such as insulation, and replacing foam plastic. It can be said that this is liquid foam. It is non-flammable and penetrates all pores, setting within a couple of hours initially, then for 2 weeks, and it has no smell or taste. Such an installation is being lowered in Kharkiv. What characteristics does it have? The brand is Penoizol B. In principle, I have not tried it yet. I have not tested it. Therefore, we need to do this now. Check how it works, what it is capable of. I have already purchased a compressor for it, which I mentioned in the previous video. How to assemble it. Its capacity is 350 liters per minute, as recommended by the manufacturer, and I bought all the components for producing foam insulation. Our task now is to start this installation, check it, and insulate the walls of my house, which is not insulated yet. So, let's get started. The manufacturer provides a small reminder, an operating manual. It is available in electronic form on the manufacturer's website. Therefore, it needs to be printed out, and you should ask the manufacturer for the password to open it from the archive. It consists of 3 sheets. 2 sheets are the instructions, and the 3rd sheet is the recipe for producing foam insulation. To begin with, according to the manufacturer's instructions, it is necessary to tighten the manometers with caps and fill both cylinders completely with water. Checks for leaks. That was the right point because water was leaking in 3 places for me. Down here at the connection, at the top. It would be a shame if an expensive chemical reagent leaked instead of water. So we will tighten everything up and then proceed with further work. After all the joints and connections of the foam insulation installation are secured and the hose is stained, it is necessary to start insulating the wall. Here I have such a wall made of red brick. It has a well in the center measuring 5 centimeters. If you do not know what size you have.
In the well, you need to very carefully take a thin drill a small hole, and use a wire to probe depth of the well and precisely measure it. Here, the clay adobe continues. The wall is lined inside, and there is a gap between this brick and the clay adobe that needs to be filled with foam insulation. Now we need to take regular chalk, a tape measure, and at a distance of 1.5 meters, mark the spots where holes will be drilled for filling with foam insulation. So let's get started. At a distance of 40 centimeters below the windowsills, exactly in the center, you need to determine the spot and make a hole for filling with foam insulation, approximately at the joint of the bricks, and we do the same, measuring the distance every 1.5 meters. This is on the side. Now all that's left is to take a drill. I have a 26mm diameter carbide drill to shoot into the rivers. It is important to share the thickness of the brick wall to avoid drilling through the wall from the outside. Drill went in, which means the wall has been drilled. We can drill further. Additionally, we drill in the joints, that it will be more convenient to seal them later. Then it is necessary to take the hose bell, through which the foam insulation will be supplied, and check if it fits tightly in its place to avoid large gaps and prevent it from being pushed back. As you can see, the drill matches the bell, with a small margin. Regarding the expansion, it fits tightly in its place, so we can drill further. Now we can proceed to filling the voids with foam insulation. The installation for foam insulation is very good, but there is one drawback. This is that the hose, with which the pneumatic connects 2 receiver cylinders, has a direct connection to one filling well, and to the second, and at the same time, When we pour the resin or solution, there may be a mixing of these substances between the receivers, which will cause a reaction and possible hardening.
Masses in receivers. Therefore, to prevent this, let's consider the option of installing an additional valve in the center between these containers. When filling, the valve is closed, which will prevent different reagents from entering opposite containers. To start, we need to carefully connect the air compressor to our device, which is essential for foam production, ensuring proper air pressure. This connection is vital as it allows the device to function optimally, producing high-quality foam efficiently. The most absolutely essential thing is not to forget to open up the intermediate valve so that there is no pressure in one receiver, while there is in the other. Therefore, it needs to have equal pressure and must be open at all times. It is crucial to ensure this in order to maintain balance. Therefore, let us begin by carefully turning on the compressor. The pressure in the receivers should be 2 full atmospheres, according to the manufacturer's recommendations. The screen is closed due to air pressure. All screens are airtight. Now we need to carefully check these connections for leaks, either by sound, or we can soap the connection to check where it is leaking, or simply pour some water on it. The next step will be filling the tanks with resin and foaming agent with water catalyst. For this we unscrew the manometers, which also serve as the lids of these tanks. We securely close the valve that we installed to safely prevent one liquid from spilling over into another. And after that, we can very carefully pour the resin slowly using an improvised river made from a bottle into this container. Here it says resin, here it says foam. Main thing is not to confuse them, because if you mix them up, then that's it. The work will be wasted. You'll have to clean everything completely, rinse it out, and disassemble it. I have KFTI resin. There are special passports for factories and managers. It is made in the city of Severodonetsk. In principle, this indicates that it complies with GOSTI standards. We need to mix this resin so that it has a uniform composition. Here it has such a consistency and texture, and it is slightly sticky. A bit. We fill using a small funnel, carefully trying to spill less. In the next step, we will need regular tap water, a hardener, this is orthophosphoric acid, concentrated food grade, an additive that the manufacturer advises us, a foaming agent, which we will mix with water in a certain proportion, and make a solution that will be poured into the opposite tank labeled foam. Add 250 grams of foaming agent to 25 liters of water. Our foaming agent is ABSK.
And the water became foam.
Pour in 150 milligrams of catalyst, mix everything thoroughly, and add 250 milliliters of additive. First, you need to connect the compressor to the compressor board. Then open the valve that we placed in the center, the air valve, and turn on the compressor. To do this, you need to set the pressure to 2 atmospheres using this tap, which is located in the front part. That is, excess air should enter through this pipe At the next stage, we will need a stopwatch. I have it on my phone, and a measuring container with a capacity of 1 liter. It is necessary to use the tap that regulates the supply of blue resin to regulate the supply of 1 liter per minute, plus or minus 50 grams. Therefore, we set the time, open the main resin supply tap, and, using the small blue tap, set this supply while turning on the compressor. Good luck.
After this, we connect the dispensing hose to the outlet pipe of the foam generator.
Using a tongue, tighten it onto the pipe using a foam generator.
It is necessary to adjust the foam supply so that the foam is stable, uniform, and lasts for 8 to 10 minutes. It is fine, finely dispersed and stable. To do this, we also apply pressure using a compressor of 2 atmospheres. Open the same shutoff screen on the right side as on the resin tap and smoothly open the second adjustment screen without closing it, adjusting the foam supply. Subtitle editor A. Sinetskaya, proofreader A. Igorova. This is the Penoizol that came out in the trial batch. It's been 3 hours already. He's turned into soft foam. If you press it like this, it has good rigidity. It suits us. The same here is the same. It is not completely dry yet, but completely covered. Here is just a foaming agent. You can see that it is without resin. Now we will fill the walls. Hooray! To be continued. If you have breaks in the operation of the unit for more than 5 minutes, then it is advisable to remove the foam supply and wash it, because when it sets, you will have to wait a long time for the Penoizol to dry completely, and then shake it out. Therefore, it is easier to wash it thoroughly before it hardens. So I connect it myself. You can see how it flows. The remains flow, the remains of the foam insulation. Of course, the work is not very clean, but it will all wash off, and nothing will replace the warmth in the house.
You can even tolerate temporary dirt in the yard for a while. Stains on the walls are extremely easy to remove. It is abundantly clear that, as you can see, it has already nearly hardened, and you can simply scrape it off with ease. If there are stains left on the wall, you can thoroughly wash them off with either a pressure washer or a brush with water, which we will do. Let's get started with the cleaning, which is declared by force. We'll wipe the walls. Valya wants to help us. We will take regular clothing, such as shirts and pants, warm water, and other necessary items, and gradually wash away the excess to ensure cleanliness and comfort in a gentle manner. And especially clean everything in these corners. You can do it 2 to 3 times to avoid any leftover pasta and birds. Everything is in order, and now we are all set for warmth. Everything washes off beautifully.